against.
I definitely believe that there's something that's unexplainable at this time in that area.
William Kittinger actually witnessed one of the strangest triangle disappearing acts of all time. He was working in air traffic control in St. Thomas when a Navajo twin-engine plane approaching the airport simply vanished.
When he reported 2 miles out for landing, I asked him to show me his landing light, and I had visual contact when he showed me his light, and I turned my attention back to the departing aircraft and watched him depart. And when I turned back to clear the Navajo to land, I got no response, and his landing light was gone, and the target was missing off the radar.
Kittinger thought the plane had gone down in the shallow water just off the airport and immediately notified the Coast Guard.
There was nothing found. There was no aircraft, no reports of downed aircraft. It just disappeared.
Our team of scientists are convinced they will have better luck finding the missing mariner.
It's a potential target right here.
Hours of dragging sensors over the bottom has proven one thing. The bottom here looks like a moonscape. It's flat and hard. Anything man-made lying down here is going to stand out.
We're on target number 2 that they've identified, and we believe it's some kind of a piece that's sticking up. Maybe a wing edge, a plane, a piece of sheet metal from the plane or something like that.
For 60 years, the most confounding and compelling mystery of the Bermuda Triangle is the disappearance of Flight 19. 5 Navy Avengers fly off the coast of Florida on a routine training exercise and never return.
The oil tends to collect in the bottom cylinders, so we pull this through to make sure that there's not a hydraulic lock.
Pilot Rick Siegfried is getting ready to fly the path that Flight 19 planned to take that day. It's just one leg of our multi-pronged search for answers to what happened in December 1945.
We might get a little insight into how they might have either lost track of time and or lost track of their position.
Flying a World War II Navy Avenger, identical to the fated planes, Siegfried will navigate the course the same way the pilots did 60 years ago, using a compass, the sun, and landmarks.
Battery on. Oil good. Boost pump on.
Our plan is to take off from Fort Lauderdale, fly east 113 miles, before turning northwest at Great Stirrup Key. After traveling 73 miles, we'll turn southwest off Great Sail Key and take the 120-mile journey back to Fort Lauderdale.
You ready for start?
The Naval Air Station where Flight 19 originated is now the Fort Lauderdale Hollywood International Airport. And like the 5 planes that disappeared in 1945, we take off under mostly clear skies.
And what a glorious day, good visibility, scattered cloud deck up in front of us.
Following Flight 19's route, we head for Hens and Chicken Shoals.
The shoals should be just this side of the lighthouse and a little south.
We find the shoals. It's those rocks sticking out of the water.
We're looking at the shoals. I didn't see the shipwreck. It might be just a little further south.
But there's no sign of the old shipwreck where Flight 19 did its bombing runs. To stay on the same schedule, we fly around the shoals for about 15 minutes before continuing east.
And why don't we head for Little Stirrup Key?
Down on the water, our experts have spent days systematically searching this patch of ocean for some scrap of the Martin Mariner that vanished while looking for Flight 19. This is where the Navy says the Mariner disappeared from its radar screens. This is where a passing tanker reported finding an oil slick. All of our research and conjecture comes down to this: putting divers in the water. One of our vessels, the Sea Dog Diver, has found a target. It's big and it's metal, and it's 80 feet down. Could it be part of the Martin Mariner that disappeared 60 years ago, launching the legend of the Bermuda Triangle? Andrew Driver, a former member of the British Special Forces, is about to find out. Not knowing what awaits at the end of this line, Andrew begins a slow descent, fighting a strong current. At 40 feet, about halfway down, visibility is about 15 feet. Not ideal, but good enough to find a large chunk of airplane, if it's there. Suddenly, at 60 feet, the water temperature drops and visibility is cut in half. Andrew has hit a thermocline, a layer of cold water and thick plankton that will make finding the target that much more difficult. Andrew continues his descent, but doesn't realize he has arrived on the ocean floor until he hits it. Using a reel of line to measure his distance from the spot where the dive weights landed, Andrew begins swimming in ever-increasing circles until gradually a silhouette comes into view, something that looks man-made. Is this the wreckage we've been looking for? Or is it the muted remains of yet another disappearance from the Bermuda Triangle? Beneath this glistening water lies a graveyard littered with the skeletons of unnamed vessels. Their watery depths remain a mystery. Locating remains of boats and planes known to be missing shouldn't be difficult with all the high-tech sonar equipment now available.
It's not such a big ocean anymore, considering what electronics can do.
But for unknown reasons, in the Triangle, evidence is rarely found.
It has to be something local to the area. It does not occur elsewhere to this extent. And always disappearance, always nothing, and so many.
In cases involving crashes or explosions, the lack of debris could be due to the Gulf Stream, which cuts right through the Triangle. With some of the fastest currents in the world, it is like the ocean's superhighway. This means debris can be swept away quickly. But heavy items like plane engines, huge ships, and large pleasure boats should still be there.
A boat disappearance is actually more mysterious, but we don't get as much information because the NTSB will not investigate, nor does the Coast Guard, a pleasure craft disappearance.
Parts of the Triangle are incredibly deep. North of Puerto Rico is what's called the Puerto Rico Trench. Here, the depth drops to 30,000 feet, the deepest point in the entire Atlantic Ocean. And right off Andros Island in the Bahamas is what is called the tongue of the ocean.
The water depth suddenly changes from being just a few hundred feet into thousands of feet.
This deep drop-off is a dramatic change from the rest of the Bahamas bank, which is extremely shallow. This creates unique patterns in weather and waves.
In this sort of confined area, it's almost like a canyon. The water patterns and also wave conditions are pretty strange.
Hans Graber is an oceanographer at the University of Miami who specializes in rogue waves. Rogue waves are large waves that defy the pattern of the waves on the surface at any given time. They can be perilous, up to 120 feet in size. Graber thinks rogue waves may be the cause of many a ship's unknown demise.
Quite often they come without much warning. They suddenly appear, and that could break over the bow of the ship, and in some cases break the ship in half, or in some cases even push it underwater. If someone is on the deck, I don't think that there's much hope for anyone finding that person anymore.